Hello and welcome to another episode of New Ways of Being. Now, this podcast has, from the beginning, been about new ways of being that we can experience personally in our embodiment of life. And if you have been following the episodes, in episodes, I believe it's 27 and 28, I introduced something new in that I am now channeling the Council of Highly Evolved Beings. And in both of those episodes, they delivered a message to the listeners. And so they will be delivering a new message today as well. Now, in the last two episodes, I was introducing the council and what they're about and what we might expect from the council. And also, we shared some information about the uh, the species of sentient beings who are participating in the council. And they've all had involvement with Earth history or care about Earth history and care about the human species on Earth awakening to to new ways of being on Earth. In other words, to shift into a more evolved consciousness to live by. That's what highly evolved beings do. They become more evolved in consciousness. And that means a lot of things. You might think in terms of love, being more loving and in a state of high vibrational love most or all of the time. And it also means being more aware. You know, most humans spend so much time thinking their thoughts, and unfortunately, so many people are identified with their thoughts that traps them in ego, in the belief in separation, in fear. And when we're that way, we don't lead very productive lives. We struggle. We, I guess I could say in a way, we don't see the good side of life and all of the infinite possibilities that we have as human beings to really engage more fully in life and to experience life more fully as creators and participants in the goodness that has been and and is being created in the universe moment by moment. That's life, in other words, is intended to be a good experience, not a struggle. So today is just a few days before Christmas of 2024. The year is rapidly coming to an end. It has been an incredible year for me. And this new experience with the Council of Highly Evolved Beings is another, more new experiences to appreciate and value. And we have so much to learn from these highly evolved species. So I have just started work on a new book, and so that will be a good while in coming. Uh, but some of my attention is going into that. And it is very much about humans learning to shift into higher consciousness. And ultimately, the goal should be all the time. And so that will be coming in the future. I won't say anything more about it today. What I will say today is that it is a wonderful time of the year, a time of year when people are more likely to be full of love and thinking positive thoughts. And with that in mind, I'm going to bring the council in just a moment here and let them deliver their message. I have uh, no message of my own that I am prepared to share today. So I'm going to bring the council in. The council is a very interesting group of, I could say, advanced masters, ascended masters in the universe, but they've accomplished awakening as a species among themselves. You know, they were a species, something like us, perhaps, or maybe very different. And they have all learned how to awaken and then come into higher states of consciousness and beingness as a species. And can you just imagine what that would be like if we could do that here on Earth? Well, I believe we can. They, the council believes we can. And it is a matter of seeing that it's something, it's a matter of understanding consciousness to begin with. And right now, most human beings have a very, very poor understanding of consciousness and what it means to be at a more evolved level of consciousness. So we're going to work together with the council over the coming months and years to help humanity evolve. And they have a lot of wisdom to share. And so today, I'm going to bring them in now to share their message with us. And I don't even know what they're going to say today. And so this is going to be interesting. I do know that they, as I say, they have so much wisdom to offer, and they want to be of service to us. And that's something that highly evolved beings and highly evolved species of sentient beings do. They know that they are a part of the divine. They are a part of the one consciousness of the universe. And they choose to step into that and to express it in their lives and to experience it in their beingness and in themselves, both as individuals and as a species. So they're going to share with us, I presume, some thoughts about about those kinds of things, how we can become more conscious beings and what that means. So now I will bring the Council of Highly Evolved Beings in, and they will speak through me. Hello to everyone listening today. We welcome you and we value this time to be able to speak to you about the evolution of human consciousness. We as a council have evolved as species on our own home planets. In most cases, this was in quite distant past. And we want to share with you and help you. We, as we said in the beginning, this is not about us. This is about how we, the Council of Highly Evolved Beings, can help human beings on Earth. And we do this willingly. We do this without obligation to humankind. And we hope what we have to offer to you is seen for its value and there's experience within what we share. There was a point of time when we long ago were not fully evolved yet, and we had to reach a point in time in which we chose as a species to evolve in consciousness more rapidly. And so we did that. We experienced that. And we will tell you that it is a wonderful experience when it happens. Instead of individuals and groups and nations struggling with life and how to deal with problems and how to communicate with each other and work with each other and to solve those problems and to create a better life for all of the beings. And in this case, we're talking on your behalf. We're talking about human beings on Earth. It is a wonderful experience when you finally see very positive changes happening. Now, there is not a precise formula for how to evolve in consciousness, but it begins by understanding that you are conscious beings and that you live by and express a certain consciousness in your lives day by day. Now, we can tell you that we would assess the situation on Earth as being one of, throughout the history over, let's say, the last 10,000 years in particular on Earth, that the belief of human beings has been that life has been very hard. Life is hard. That life is hard to hold on to. In other words, there was a time when there were predators attacking human beings. This was in the ice ages or in a period of time when most human beings lived in caves or in very protective ways because those predators, large feline creatures or creatures of many different types, were a threat to your life, to the life of human beings. And so, in that kind of struggle environment where life is difficult, you learn how to be very, you operate from fear. You learn how to be constantly on the lookout from danger and doing what you can to protect your life. And that's the way that humans have evolved in, again, let's say the last 10,000 years. And of course, it has been much longer than that. But in the last 10,000 years, you have been full human beings aware of yourselves as human beings and aware of having certain capabilities and certain weaknesses. And uh, and in that same period of time, other human beings, to some extent, were seen as competition for resources and how to survive. And in that time, human beings developed a level of violent capability in order to fend off other tribes that may have been attacking, trying to take away what you had or take away your lives. And so there has been a consciousness of, based on the belief in separation, that you are individual human beings or maybe a small number of human beings gathered together in tribes, and that you must compete for resources in the day-to-day life in your world. And so human beings have that accumulated history and the belief in separation and the living in the emotional state of fear a very large percentage of the time. You did not have the luxury that some other beings on some other planets have had of a kinder environment and a kinder life. On Earth, it has been a struggle. And so the primary consciousness, even today, is that of belief in separation and the resultant fear that dominates in your life. That is the emotion that you have been responding to. Even in modern life, you're no longer having to defend your life all the time physically, but you carry over, what has been called the fight or flight characteristic of dealing with fear, to be in response to fear. So the problems on Earth, the struggles on Earth that most people will say that they have, and human beings do recognize that life is not what they would like it to be, and it's not even what most people think is possible for it to be, because you are you are not operating from awareness of your state of consciousness. And that's why we say, in order to awaken and to break out of that way of living, that fear-based living, you must shift your consciousness. You must become aware of what your consciousness is, ideally, moment to moment. And so that is the first step that must be achieved. You must become aware that you are operating from separation and fear most of the time, and also from being in your mind most of the time, thinking about how do I deal with this next thing, this next problem in my life? How do I plan for that? How do I deal with that? That puts you in the state of thinking all this time, and thinking is not a primary state of consciousness for a human being. Now, there's one other important thing to understand that we talked about in our first message, and that is that you live in a universe that is alive and conscious. That the very fundamental aspect of the universe is consciousness itself. And it is a consciousness of wholeness, that it knows itself to be whole. And it is a consciousness that is primary. It existed in the universe before matter. And that one consciousness, or super intelligence in the universe, made the decision to share in its life experience in a way that is very appreciable, and that's through a physical environment. We won't go into all the reasons why right now, but so that divine being, that one consciousness, created the physical realm within itself, within one consciousness. And the physical universe came into being, eventually with untold numbers of galaxies and suns and planets, and sentient beings arose over time on some of those planets. Now, consciousness pervades the universe. This is something that very few human beings understand, but we would like for you to think about it just a bit. This may be your first introduction to some of these ideas, but one consciousness is what you as a being are made of. and that one consciousness pervades the universe. Now, human beings think that their own individual consciousness is totally unique and separate from all others. But that is not true. Every human being is a part of the one singular universal consciousness. And that is fundamental for you to understand. If you can begin to understand that what one consciousness is, what it might be, and that you are a part of it, and that every other human being is part of it, if you can come to understand that, then a shift will begin to occur because you will see that you are not separate beings as you have believed, because you are separate physical beings, you have separate bodies. No. At a deep level, at the level of the quantum field, and at the level of one consciousness, which are levels that you cannot see with your eyes, you are all one. Everything is one. All beings in the universe are part of that oneness. That's a very powerful thing to realize. We ask you to think about that. We know that it is not uncommon for humans to have the thought, it seems that I, an individual, must be part of something bigger than myself. And so those people who believe in a religion may come to understand that they are part of something larger in terms of the concepts or beliefs of that religion. But human beings know that they know it instinctively that they are a part of something greater than themselves. And if they could only see and know and understand what that is, what it means to them, that might make a difference in their life. And those who shift into higher states where they come to know that they are a part of this great oneness of the universe, this wholeness, they all agree it is a powerful, positive shift in beingness, in how you are being in the world. So we invite you not just to hear these ideas and dismiss them as concepts, and they may be concepts that are abstract to you and don't have immediate clarity in what they mean. But we invite you to open to that idea that you are a part of something much greater in the universe, that you are a part of one universal consciousness, and that all beings are similar to you, that they are all a part of one consciousness. If you think in religious terms, you could describe that as being that every being is a divine being, a spiritual being. And that in itself is the most incredibly empowering idea that you can have to begin to understand that you are a part of something much greater than yourself. You are a part of something that fills the universe, that is infinite, that is eternal, that is all powerful, because creation is a natural characteristic of one consciousness. And wholeness is a natural characteristic of one consciousness. And when you are a part of this infinite life of the universe itself, and if you can only come to understand that you are participating in the creative process of the universe that you call life, every day is one consciousness unfolding into physical reality and also into spiritual realities in other dimensions that you can share in a life that is meant to be wonderful and creative and delightful. And you have been given free will and the power of creation in order that you can create that which you desire. Whatever you might dream up for your life and how you might live and what you might do in being of service in your world, because service is an important part of wholeness. We are all one. We are all sharing in life. And human beings are all sharing in the life on earth. And if you make the shift of awakening, evolving to higher consciousness, you will begin to understand this at deeper and deeper levels. And you, when you do that, will begin to live lives that are wonderful for each of you and that are wonderful and uh, are that have infinite possibility for you, not just as individuals, but as a human species collectively on Earth. And when you do that, you create lives day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute that change the world. You will see life as good and positive and challenging to you human beings and allowing you to to uh, play with life, to experience life in new ways that are not only free from struggle and are lives that are based on interacting with other human beings in very friendly and collaborative ways, it opens doors to create beyond anything you can imagine today. So it is, or when you evolve in consciousness, it is stepping into something much greater and grander. And as we have said, we could use many different adjectives. Life becomes fun, delightful, challenging, perhaps, if you want to learn something new, um, inviting, delicious in terms of food that you might experience, engaging in terms of physical life that you might experience, exploring your planet, or learning uh, to dance certain new dances that you've never done before, or to listen to music that you enjoy, or to create music uh, in communities and in gatherings. Uh, so life becomes much greater and grander. You will love it. We invite you to think about this message and what we have shared, to think about the potential of that. Something that's very empowering and very important to realize is that when you step into the creator that you are and into the invitation and opportunity to create in more incredible ways than you've ever experienced, it um, it is it's doors opening up. It is life opening up itself. And so it is the beginning of a new way of being on Earth. We hope this gets you excited. We know that you, at this point, do not understand uh, everything you need to know and understand about consciousness. And we will be talking about consciousness in our future messages quite often. Consciousness is what it is all about. It is what the universe is all about. It is what life is all of it about. So think about what we have shared today. Get excited about it. That is the way it should be. This is a grand opportunity. And that this is all for today, though. But keep thinking about those ideas. And we will share more in each new future episode, future message that we share with you. This is all for today. We hope that you have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful life.